first time episode here, Jeremy Stam, and here Giuseppe Rubino, the owner of Northfield, of our first episode of the Comish Podcast. This is something that we're trying to do to try to evolve our now league as we're really evolving in today's time. We're here at Media Day today of 2023 for the spring season, and we already had a couple teams show up, and it's going to be a great one when we release this video. You'll see a couple different teams that already shown up. We had VGs here with Vito and Vito.
Josh.
And Josh. Almost had Vince there.
We'll have some bloopers coming out as well because we get names. We're human, so it happens.
Especially Jeremy with Vito. What'd you call him?
Vinny.
So there's definitely going to be that component, and then as well as the media to it all. As you see, we have a kind of nice live setup over here.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like I said, I can't wait for the pictures to come out. You guys are going to see where they're trying to do something different for the league, for flag football, to kind of bring in a little bit more fans, to bring the people at home kind of to the screen to watch us, because we've been growing past couple of years. Some of these teams have really been improving, and it's real special to see, to watch especially from where we began. Some of these teams to see where they are now. So we're gonna get a chance to kind of know teams. We're gonna go over some teams that you don't necessarily hear on an everyday basis or every week basis. Kind of bring them to light and show that we're involving, and we're gonna include everybody, not just the top teams.
No, definitely. So speaking of teams that we're not usually seeing, let's talk about what to come in this rec season. We got the team's list is already filling up, and from the bottom of my heart and everyone that's been around in this league, we do appreciate that, and the teams pre-signing up this early on and making sure that we may leave our mark on our 2023 year. 2022 has definitely been one for the record books, not only as an owner, but as just as players.
I'll be happy to see it go. Right now.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of unfortunate events, but I'm sure that's some stuff we'll talk about later in our podcast.
Get into that stuff.
I mean, that's just something we got to talk about. But let's also talk about the fact of what to expect. We maxed this new season out at 30 teams, which is something new that Northfield has never done.
I'm expecting. I mean, I definitely know why. It makes a lot of sense in the long run of why we do that, to kind of cap it so you don't have to necessarily be, trying to do things that people want you to do and you can't do. You know what I'm saying? So if you cap it off, you kind of make it as everyone needs to sign up when you ask them to, instead of waiting forever.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of nailing it on the head where, we're trying to go back to the basics almost with stuff and get more of the media production side a little bit bumping. We just got that great opportunity with Game Changers. Actually, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. We're going to pause. I'm going to go grab my Game Changer hat. So, we talked about, new changes and opportunity and sponsorships. And one of the biggest things right now is Game Changers that we just got a part of. And, when we signed that contract with them, something I told him, I was like, we've done a lot of different sponsorships. We still have amazing, great sponsorships that we're still going to be partnered with. This is just going to help us on the app side to be more advanced with our technology. They have a lot of great opportunities for us. We're their first ever adult league partner. I don't know if anyone knows that.
No.
They've only done youth.
They're the first
For adult league. Let's emphasize that, not organization, league. Because they are partnered with FFWCT. Well, I'm sorry, USA Flag. But we're their first adult partnership, which I thought was really cool, an opportunity, and they're really trying to get in the flag community. But this app that we're going into, we tested it out a little bit for the Turkey Bowl, and as a team playing in it, how'd you feel with it? I know we weren't able to utilize it as much due to the cold and all the technology.
It was a real cold one that day. So of course the batteries weren't really working, but I mean it was nice to see. It was a nice setup, easy to kind of get along, find out where your team is, your rosters, and stuff like that. So I would say it's on the up and up. I mean, the more and more we use it, the more and more we'll get used to it. So it's just good to see something, sponsor us or actually try to get into the flag world. Like, not a lot of sponsors, or we haven't had that many opportunities. So it's good to see these opportunities kind of present themselves, and we can move forward. Of course, it's always about growing, and to see that these guys coming in and want to be a sponsor for us, that means we're growing. So we're doing the right things, and that's kind of where we want to be headed. You know what I mean? So it's
no, yeah, definitely. I mean, you're talking about it's going to enhance the one-on-one time you're having with the teams.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be where you're going to be also be able to be communicated more from the sense of the captain, where, sometimes you use group me and all that. Well, hey, if there's a change in that adjustment and you're onto that team, you'll automatically get a notification.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take away the word of mouth almost where, man, I didn't get notified. And it's like, okay, so you're notified now because you're going to be on the app.
Kind of an easier way to get all the notifications you need, kind of get everything together, so you're not last minute with things. And that's always the key thing about it, is not being last minute, trying to get everything situated and have all that information right in front of you instead of trying to find it.
Oh, no, 100%. I think another big part of that is just going to be, the organization scale. You're going to be able to find your schedule. You can set up messages in there where you can talk with your team. You can set practices. You can eventually, the app's right now it's in the beginning stages for flag.
Yeah.
But if you dabbled in the app at all, it's huge in baseball and it's really getting big in basketball.
Yeah, I see
and
that, yeah.
They have so many key features where the app's going to allow you, the teams, pretty much, we're going to eventually let us be a league inside the app. And it's going to show the standings for us. They're working on getting it to stats. But we're talking about...
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and we're talking about like a big advancement for us as a league. Because, unfortunately, we've had some issues with our website in the past. And it's an endless battle at my end with the website.
I know.
So,
you know what? With a little bit of
technology, man, I can't even tell you. Just one thing going right here, right now, we're talking about technology. We went from not having no podcast. We had the podcast with you and Hendo.
Yeah.
That was
which we're still going to do.
that
here,
peaked
guys.
here and there, and then of course, let's give credit where credit's due. The people who started in Chicago, the podcast original, Derry and his crew from Revolution.
Absolutely.
As well as just the endless cycle. You see so many of even the guys in the league now starting their own podcast, and that's what we want. We want more content for everyone. And so just because necessarily you're not the part of the league's more than happy to be like, hey, we're here to support you. We want to promote you. We want to promote your podcast because
content out there.
At the end of the day, if we all get out there together, the more we can bring back to our home, state and host more and do a little bit more.
Because what people don't understand, this is a community. This flag world that we go into every Sunday, and we have these practices with our teams. It builds the bond. It builds just a camaraderie around with everybody, and just to get to know these teams, it kind of helps them too. Kind of want to move up from rec to comp, from comp to Northfield Elite. It kind of gives these teams to a little bit more of a platform. Like, if they can see the things getting built here, it's just going to get more and more teams and more people an opportunity, and that's what we're all about. So Elite has some spots open, so whoever wants to join.
Yeah, let's speaking about Northfield Elite, let's pivot to this season with how many teams we're at. We just talked about it previously before we got into that rant about the sponsorships. That's kind of that happens with podcasts. You just go from one rant to another.
Go with the
So
flow.
let's talk about, Elite right now. We have Phantoms in there. We have Silent Assassins coming up from comp after winning comp.
Shout out to the Ortizes.
We have For the Fam.
That's us.
We have Throw It Up.
TIU is a new team. It's going to be them and Silent Assassins. They were just in the championship for comp last year, right? Comp took that, or Silent Assassins took that.
Assassins took that.
So TIU is a team that's been around for a little bit. They got some guys over there, so I'm kind of glad to see them make the jump.
Yeah, we're supposed to actually see them here in about 30 minutes or so.
I'm always glad to see Silent Assassins. I like that team a lot. They're building the right way. They're a young team. They're making some noise. So it's good to see them move up.
It's nice to see those guys work through the group and and kind of progressing in that way. You know, now we got VGs as well. Now, remind you, these are only the teams that officially registered. We're not going to include names of the other ones because we don't know what they're doing. They tell us they're playing, but they haven't registered yet. So, and that's on them because once spots fill up, you know,
they got some time. I believe
they got a lot of time. That's just me being a little pushy.
I believe Northfield Elite is going to be, obviously it still is the only division that's not filled up.
Correct.
There's going to be guys that are jumping in and out of there. Maybe they want to do it, maybe they don't. We'll see. The team list will grow. We have 10 available options, and we got, what, 5, 6 right now?
Yeah, 5. We're halfway there.
We're halfway there. We'll see what happens.
I mean, we're only 3 more away from last year. It's, you know, where we're at. I mean,
well, it's Northfield Elite for a reason, right? You're playing the top competition. There is not one team right now. I mean, even with TIU and Silent Assassins coming in, they're not pushovers. Okay?
Correct.
You can't just go in there and throw 8 guys out there and expect to win. Not Northfield Elite. Maybe Rex sometimes you can get away with that. Comp maybe sometimes, but not Northfield Elite. You got to come with your dogs, and if you don't have them, you're going to take an L. So, you know, I that's why I love the Elite. I love the competition up there. A lot of those guys have been playing for a long time. They know how this game is ran, what to do, and kind of how to succeed in this league, you know?
Yeah, so let's get into, you know, comp. We're going to kind of trickle backwards. Yeah. Comp's our is our biggest division of the whole league. They're going to be playing at Melrose this year. You know, they're going to have games. And because I'm going to read off the list real quick. We got Gremlins, which used to be Osos, and then Polar Bears. So they kind of trickled. No, it's the same team. So Polar Bears broke off. Part of them went with TIU. Then they went back, and then Osos did their thing for a couple seasons. Now they're back together as Gremlins.
Okay.
And then we got the Brotherhood. Always pretty consistent. It was in TFL for a lot of seasons. Played in Northfield. Has a ship over there. Hasn't won one here yet. But they're definitely another team that's a young buck of guys that, you know, will come out on top there. And then you got Death Row. You never know which Death Row team's going to show up, though.
My boy Manny over there, what's he going to put together? You know, I always like to see what he likes to put together. He's a hell of a manager over there because he always got guys, you know what I'm saying?
He's a recruiter. To him. He's a recruiter, and that's his thing, you know. He
always be recruiting. That's the
exactly.
main thing. If you guys want to move up, I'm telling you, comp, rec, that's what you do. You got to recruit, okay? Don't do it. Don't be like other teams that do it. Do it the smart way. Do it. Don't just go in there and start talking shit about other teams. If you want to recruit guys, there's plenty of people that leave teams just because. You can find them anywhere. So,
and then we got Old Times, who just won rec that moved up. They moved up, and then we
see that always.
And we got Infamous Ballers Association.
Okay, BA.
And then we got Senators and Wild Boys, who unfortunately did not make the rec cut. Kind of said, you know what, we're just going to go to comp.
For Wild Boys?
Boys and Senators.
Yeah, but Wild Boys have been around for those.
They both have. They've been around the league a long time. They've won a couple here and there. They prefer to play in rec, but, you know, as this, you know, we capped rec out at 8. You know, we only have so much time at the venue. We're trying not to be as spread out as we were in the past. So that's why we're really pushing for 12 teams in comp, which we did get, which, you know, again, guys, we can't be grateful enough that we already got these spots filled and there's a wait list starting to form. And that just, what that does is just going to secure everyone a great in their money season and worth their time and effort and not knowing, man, who am I playing? Who's going to be in this league? Are these teams that we can trust? You know, and that's the biggest thing I think everyone wants now is just like they want guys who are going to show up, play.
Yeah, the worst thing is to win by forfeit.
And that's something that I think we struggle with a lot in this past couple seasons is, you know, teams every team was in and out and we had a lot of forfeits and it was kind of frustrating, but that's definitely another work in progress there. And hopefully with the new schedule and you're picking your schedule and you know that in advance, I mean, you already know where you're going to be, right? Yeah. And then you got Dirty Birds who have been consistent in comp.
Dirty Birds have been in championships. Yeah, absolutely.
We got Brick Squad. We got the Dinosaurs who are popping over from TFL.
Dinosaurs have got a couple guys over there. I played against them.
Those jerseys.
Recently. Hey, the Toronto Raptors jerseys.
I tried getting him to come today. He's not able to get anyone to come in, but man. I mean, they look great.
They look nice. They do look nice.
I mean, it's the football flair.
Yeah.
And then you got Empire, and then you got Empire, who's Empire. Empire's
been around
Empire.
for a very long time. They have a lot of veterans over there. Always come with the team, so I look forward to watching them.
And it's veteran guys too. So I mean, they will have 8 guys, but they'll ball out with 8 guys.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we have, I kind of went out of order because I saved this one for last. It's the infamous Earn Vision from the past couple seasons that has been on people's radar due to their quarterback talking a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what? I will say this.
But they kind of held their ground a little bit. They did upset Next Level, who won out in the Turkey Bowl. They have a lot of great games. I think sometimes they get lost in the madness. And
well, it's. I will say one thing. You see all the comments, you see the talk. It's great. It's funny. It brings that little bit of competition, or that fuel to the fire, I should say, for that game, and that's great. I mean, we always like to hear that. They're a team that's been on a lot of people's tongue because of kind of their own heat that they bring on themselves, which is okay. Like I said, I always like to see that, but like. Back it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to talk, definitely back it up. And just remember, everything is always recorded and always kept. You got everything. So when you put money on the line and stuff like that, you got to stick to your word. So like I said, you kind of see them stepping up and trying to bring that heat on them. And I hope it's for a reason. I hope they get better. And I hope they enjoy it, like I said. And I hope they move up eventually. I don't know exactly how Comp's going to play out. There's a lot of good teams there.
I mean, it's a good mix.
Yeah,
I mean,
there is.
Anyone can win in it.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. Is like, we have those 12 teams. There's a lot of teams that we see every season that hasn't registered because they don't know. And, that was the hardest decision for me was like, hey, do I open this up now and I do this now? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Yes.
Is there a reason that you made 12 in Comp compared to 10 in Rec?
And 10 and 10?
Yeah.
10 and 10?
The only question I ask is because you kind of give a lot more spaces in Comp, but is there a reason there's a lot more teams to sign up? Or
I think it's the playing level, it's the venues, the time we have.
Makes sense.
We're lucky at Melrose that they love us there. We have a great relationship with them, and we have a lot more time to host games. I put 12 in Comp because I believe that if you play in Comp, everyone who's going to go there is going to show up and play. You're going to be it's that platform. It's the next level to. You don't have teams that necessarily want to travel, but you have some teams that are working towards that point. It's that in between. I feel like that Rec shouldn't have the most teams. I feel like Rec is where you come in, you start off,
learn
the game, and you progress. You have the teams that like to stay down there that are consistent because of age or such forth, or have to keep rebuilding. I truly believe that's what Rec is designed for. And, and I don't know if you remember, we used to not even call it Rec. We used to call it D-League.
Yeah.
And we had A, B, C, D. I think that took a lot of headaches, like where it's like, man, I'm not a C team. Man, I'm not a D team. I'm a D2 team.
But like I said, I agree. Rec is where you want to start off. It's where you kind of want to learn the game. You want to grow your team. You want to find out who's really committed, because that's a big thing here is you got to find teammates that are committed. You can't keep showing up with league fees, being due, and with just having the right players. You don't want to keep showing up empty-handed or short-handed, as you may say. So you kind of need guys, and that's kind of where you learn the game. So you grow your team from there. You move up to Comp, then you start taking it a little bit seriously. But I believe if you move up in Comp, you should want to travel a little bit more. I'm going to tell you this right now. That's kind of what makes your team a little bit better is by seeing so many different teams, because flag football is bigger than what people think it is. And there's teams everywhere. And there's teams with all different kinds of styles. And you don't see that necessarily just by playing in Chicago, which is great, like I said. But if we could get more teams to travel, you put Chicago on the map a little bit more.
That's true.
You get that experience out there. So now all of a sudden, you kind of know how this goes. Because tournament ball and regular season ball and flag football, 2 different things. Just faster pacing than tournaments. And
well, I think the biggest thing is with comping at 12. We have the competition there. Comp is competition.
Yeah.
It says it in its name. Rec ball. I love rec ball. I probably, you could put it at 10, but I'm like, you know what? No, I want to keep it at 8. Where I don't want to. A lot of times, I don't want to feel like teams have to get rushed off the field. Yeah. I don't want us to be interfering with other stuff, and there's a lot of other stuff that happened in rec, and there's reasons why, cost of venues, all that have factors in it. But it's just rec. I want rec and comp and elite to all feel the same love.
Right.
And the way I mixed it up is, how can I make sure all these divisions can feel taken care of without having to, split it up?
And this media day, these pictures of getting these teams out there and kind of noticed is starting that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope the opportunities that you're offering for these teams, they take these opportunities. They take this just to kind of get there out there. A lot of these teams, they make Facebook pages, they make Instagram pages, and this is the content you want on there. This is the kind of get those fans to come in and join your pages and stuff. Like I said, I think Northfield is moving in such a right direction on trying to change things and growing with the new age of flag football. The podcast is one thing. The media day is another thing. I really feel like, I'm going to talk to Giuseppe, I feel like we should have some voices in the videos.
So,
as well.
we try to do that, and I really tried. So the problem is, not everyone had the ability to just hang up their cleats and say they're done. Because I tell you right now, if it wasn't for the fact, we were talking about it before I actually did that, if it wasn't for the ankle break, I'll be honest with you, I would love to step back out on that field and play. I've tried, I try to get out there, but it's a matter of, what brings you to that point? Giving up that time, that feeling of being on the field and what everyone has a passion for. I just kind of changed my motive. Yeah. I was already I was going to go to that direction for the sport and for our league.
So you're saying that injury put you in the commissioner chair? Is that what you're saying?
No. That's
what we're saying.
I mean, the injury did not put me there, but the injury made me only be there. And it made me turn my focus straight.
Focus straight on the game.
And because I had my own team, I love playing. I've been playing longer probably than I should in the league. But Mike already knows that. He chuckles at that now, and he's like, "Man, if I would have known." And I'm like, "But you did, Mike." So
and you never know. That was a freak accident. And
yes, but
I'm glad to see that you're.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like at some point,
walked away from this.
I could have walked away completely and said, I don't want to do it. Because that's the part that made it worth it. Yeah. The playing. So now where we're at, just being there, is really the changer of it all. How can I just focus on being a commissioner and an owner and a good person to give the game that I want to give back.
Game, exactly. I think that's kind of where I've been playing for a very long time. I've watched Northfield grow. I've seen other leagues around grow, and you stay consistent. You've been building from what Mike Catone started. Shout out to Mike Catone, love you. OG from the game. I'm telling you, I think a lot of people can respect that man and what he's done for a lot of people just individually.
Well, no one's realized what Mike used to do to get fields.
Yeah. Oh, I do. He used to call me up and be like, "Hey, you want to paint some fields?"
Well, no, not even that. Just to get the fields at Schiller Park.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so you had to stay there.
He would sleep overnight in his car in the parking lot.
They said the forest preserve in his truck.
And he would put up his own money. And he would, things are changed now. It's a whole different process, but similar process. But you don't have to physically stay because it's more online. But he used to spend overnights in the parking lot with a wad full of cash and pay it in full. And sometimes he wouldn't make his money back.
Yeah.
But that's the risk you take for the league. I mean, it's an endless thing for something that you love. But I mean, no one realizes the extent. Like, you don't make what you think you make.
No.
And it's all about more the love of the game. All the extra stuff, you think it's something, but it's really just you investing in the brand.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of going back to our sponsors and stuff like this. I mean, the more sponsors we can get here, the more sponsors you bring in, the prize at the end can kind of grow as well. I mean, that's kind of what everyone kind of talks about now is, we put a lot into it, time, money, effort, and just having a team and stuff like that. And you wish you get a little bit more out of it, but at the same time, when you're running the league, you're paying for a lot of things too. So if you could get that help from a sponsor and try to put some more, so we can put some more in the pot, which makes it a little bit more worth it.
I mean, sponsorships alone have increased our payouts through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about last year alone. I mean, we gave out thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You're talking about in fall alone, $8,700 in fall alone, and we have 3 seasons out of the year.
Yeah.
So I think grand total between tournaments and stuff, we gave close to almost $30,000 out, just us as a league.
Yeah, we do definitely play a lot. I know some of the wives could probably contest to that, you know?
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you've noticed the new schedule, but that's the reason why I've adjusted the schedule. I'm trying to make sure that we're there for our families. We can play the games. We're not going to be playing on Mother's Day anymore, which I know a lot of wives are going to appreciate so much. I know my wife for one, as well as, we're not going to be playing on Father's Day, after June 4th, after our championship. It's kind of give some team times for a couple weeks where you have loading weekends where you can travel.
Yeah.
Our summer season's going to be not really like how it used to be. It's going to be how like the winter is, where it's a very short couple weeks season in July, and that will be it.
Kind of gives them
And then
to travel, stay with their
Exactly.
family, kind of
Be local.
Yeah.
It's not going to be meant to fill out. And then we're going to have August, the same thing as we always have, is give enough time to travel and be with our families. And then come September, we'll start back up fall. But the goal is to give that time instead of kind of being overwhelmed.
Yeah, I know the travel schedule is pretty much out there. I know if you guys go on FFWCT
Or UFFL.
they both have their schedules out there for travel.
And there's other, organizations too that are out there. Weekend Warrior. We have the elite, the best of the elite series. Me and June do that. I go out there, I help him out. Keep an eye out for that. Me and June. June has some great stuff in the works.
Shout out to June.
From Ohio. A lot of people,
Bringing those rings back, making them
Yeah.
nice. I see it over there.
a lot of people went there in Ohio and they were like, "Oh man, the grass." Dude, June had no control in that. That killed him.
Hey, I tell you,
Dude,
June,
they told him.
June don't want to hear about grass.
Yeah,
no more.
he tried. He was gonna cut it himself, and they're like, "No, we're gonna pull your full permit."
Yeah.
And they were just it put him in such a bad spot, and it gave him a bad name to some people, but like it wasn't him.
You learn,
and
grow
that's
from
the
it.
struggle with a lot of it is like we get mad at the runners of the organization, and you're like, oh, blah blah blah, but half the time you can't control everything.
No, and you know what? Like I said, you're always going to have people complain about something, right? Nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
So, someone's going to be pissed off about something. That's just kind of how this goes.
So I don't mean to cut you off.
go ahead.
Where I'm looking at the time, so we're trying not to make this too long of a podcast. But we're gonna talk some more. But I want to pivot over to the rec real quick, and let's talk about rec.
Okay.
That way, we can get into other stuff in our podcast, and because we do have some interviews that we're going to give out as well, and we want to make sure we have enough time, we don't exceed it.
No,
all.
absolutely.
And
We
there's going
wanna
to be
talk
more
to
than this,
everybody. Absolutely.
As you see, we have the lighting, we have the stuff, so we do plan on setting up going to if you want to host one of the podcast nights, and we're trying to make it fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have sponsorship bars that they kind of have their, we're willing to go there, have these podcasts live there so we can kind of talk to you guys as well. Again, the more content you guys can get with your team, reach out to us, all right? Let us know.
Tag
you
us
guys
on
wanna do
TikTok.
things.
TikTok, TikTok's a growing industry, and a lot of people don't realize that we can get a lot of sponsorships through TikTok. And, check out our TikTok page and
We'll have
check
some
out our
content over
Facebook,
there.
our Instagram. We haven't been so active on our Instagram, and, we have a Twitter, believe it or not. But it's like I just post on what's more popular, which is Facebook.
Well, like I said, we have a bunch of avenues to get to.
Yeah.
And we'll get there with the help of you guys out there as the fans and the friends that you guys, bring to us. That's exactly what we want. So let's just grow this as big as we can.
So let's talk about rec, right? We got Menergy. We got
Menergy's been around for a long time.
Menergy's been around for a long time. Great group of guys, always building. They go through ups and downs. It's probably one of more of our consistent teams. We got Black Mambas, who as well is another consistent team that's been fighting through the barrels. We got Metal Militia now. Is not Metal Militia. So there's that.
What's the difference?
It's just the way they spell it. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. To be
Metal
honest with you.
Militia. He's been around for a little bit too. Frank's been running that team forever.
Yeah.
Shout out to Frank.
He hops back and forth between, comp and rec, depending on what he has. He knows what he needs to put out there. He knows that what his team's capable of. They've been consistent in rec. Then we got 2 Lethal, which is a new team. Don't really know too much about them. I know it's some guys that have branched off from Next Level. Some of those dudes, some dudes from Brotherhood are going to play with them. And then we got the
So
Warrior.
new team coming in. Like
New
I said,
team.
anything can happen. It's always cool. It's exciting to see a new team kind of form, see what they have, and see what kind of weapons they bring.
We got the Warriors, who have been consistent over the past couple of
Warriors,
years.
I've heard about
That's
them.
Mark Rivera and Daniel over there. And then we got, the Wolf Pack, which is, they've been around here and there. They kind of pop up. I don't really know how else to put it. I don't know too much about their team.
You know what? And that's
That, that's another thing.
I apologize if I don't know much about you guys.
I mean,
but I'll get to know them. I really do. I really will. I'll watch more film. I'll get to.
Well, they don't
know
really
you
have
guys.
much film, so they've popped up a couple seasons here and there.
Okay.
I believe the last season they played was, off my memory, was COVID season.
Okay.
So they kind of took a hiatus. And then we got the Reapers / Grim. They're a new team. It's not the Reapers.
I was going to say it's not the Reapers from
No,
Northfield
so
Elite,
I
right?
hit them up as soon as I saw that entry, and I'm like, hey, man, to avoid conflicts.
We have a team.
I was like, we already have a team in Elite where we can't do. I know that you're probably a whole different team, but they have the same color scheme, the same team colors. It's literally they're going off of the Grim Reaper. And I'm like, this is too similar.
So Reapers have fans. The Northfield Elite teams.
So I joked with them like, can you just put it as the Grim Reapers?
So Grim Reapers, we're going to call them.
Yeah,
Grim
so
Reapers and Rec.
I'm curious to see what their name's going to be because, like I told them, like if you don't do it, I'm going to have to just make it. And we've done that in the past where teams decided they want to keep the same name, and I give them an abbreviation. They're like, well, this is not my team name. I'm like, I told you we needed to change it.
Kind of change it up.
And
for
you've
them.
seen the website. We put similar. It's gonna cause hell on me.
Yeah, you'll have
so
people showing up in the wrong games and stuff.
Yeah, so we don't want to cause any chaos in there.
Man, I'm not supposed to play 4TF.
And Reapers, I've already talked to the Reapers, and they're planning coming back to Elite. They're figuring some stuff out. That's the Shy City Boom, that merger from the Spartans, and then it all
wasn't a bad merge.
No, it's not. I mean, they came out
They
with one comp.
surprised. They surprised a couple teams in Northfield Elite.
I mean, they surprised, and then they beat Hammer.
And Hammer ended up winning the whole thing. So you never know.
I mean, so those are our 8 teams. I mean, we have 25 teams right now based on today's entry of 11-11.
Northfield Elite, sign up, please.
Yeah, I mean, because there is 5 spots left, but if people don't remember this, when you registered, is the way your draft schedule is.
Yeah, but some people don't worry about that. I mean,
Well, if
don't
you-
get
if
me
you
wrong.
care
Some
about your
people always
schedule-
complain about the schedule no matter
Yeah,
what.
so I mean, that was the biggest thing. I think that's why we gained so much registration early on is that people want to lock in their spot.
Yeah.
And we're not asking you necessarily to pay at this moment.
Well, when you see rec at 8,
You wanna get in.
You see comp at 12, you want to get in, right?
Yeah.
There's no waiting, especially. I mean, rec filled
Dude,
up first, right?
The crazy part is that like we filled rec in 80% of a comp within 5 hours of registration.
Oh, yeah, I
Rec
saw it.
filled within 3. I had teams hitting me up or like, hey, like we want to get in. I'm like, are you budgeting? And I'm like, no, like the reason I did 30 teams because I want to give a product to our teams. Yeah. I'm planning for this. We didn't do a winter season because of X, Y, and Z cost, and I'm not against it. I think we might just, it seems like teams are a little upset, but at the same time, I feel like it's caused some help within teams to scrimmage and get prepared for nationals. I think people are getting too beat up.
Yeah, well, the thing about, having right now trying to find space, right?
Oh, my.
Indoor, right? I know
Soccer
teams-
has taken over.
Yep, soccer is really expanded.
They got the new soccer where it's like a 3v3 where they can fit like 4 fields on one field.
Yep.
And they took over. I tried doing a basketball league. They took over all the basketball courts because they can play it on turf and hardwood floor. So there's a lot of that component where flag is out there, but there's other things out there too.
I'll tell you right now, teams, it's hard to find, just like I said, space to practice. So with the kind
cost.
Yeah, with having other teams to help out with the cost and you kind of can scrimmage and kind of keep going against somebody else other than your team helps. I mean, those practices by yourself don't help a lot too. So I know 4TF had a practice all by themselves to kind of just get together and go over some of the things that we need to work on. Like sometimes when you have a joint practice, you can't necessarily work on a lot of things because you're going against another team. You don't want to show everything in the book. But it helps. It definitely helps. And with not having a winter league, you're kind of seeing less and less teams kind of be able to find a place to practice.
Yeah, that's true. You know, another thing is, you know, the struggle part of I'm looking at is, you know, video. You know, last year I feel like some of our teams got nipped in the butt with the video at nationals right before, and it was pretty easy. So, you know, but that's inevitable. Here's the thing, you know, media is inevitable, videos are inevitable. Some leagues do it best, covering it up. But if you're still beating these teams and you have video, it doesn't matter. They can watch all the video you want. I mean, let's be real. NFL has video, and they do homework, and every team has video in high school and everything. It's not a bad thing to be prepared.
No, not at all.
But here's the thing.
Absolutely
If they don't have video, you don't know what they're doing. But if they know what you're doing, yeah, so what? But now you can pick up if they picked up on certain things, and you can make
still
that
gotta stop
in-game
it,
adjustment. They got to stop it.
You still got to stop it. I mean, you can know what someone's doing, but if you can't stop it, it really doesn't matter. You don't have the right people in the place to stop it, and it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I mean, I like the film. It's something that we haven't had the last couple of years. Having that film helps just, you know, not just studying, but helps your team as well. Studying for your team, kind of seeing, you know, tape doesn't lie, you know. So it's kind of like one of those things you can hold everybody.
That, and it's helped with other things, you know. It's looking back on, you know, X, Y, and Z. You know, the biggest thing we've used tape for as a league is our refs. Yeah. You know, our refs have been, you know, that's something that we've been talking about and watching over. Like, what are we, you know, how did we make a bad call? Can we fix this and that? And, you know, everyone seems that like it's, you know, it's easy said than done, but until you're in that spot and you're that referee in that angle, it's hard.
That's never easy.
It's
refereeing is probably a really hard position.
And
next to being a quarterback on a team, because we all can say quarterback takes most of the heat. So the refs take a lot of heat. You brought in the challenge this year.
Yeah, not a lot of people used it.
We did.
You used it, but like I was honestly, I brought it in and I put the specific components into it that required you to be able to use it. Team, if it
needs some tweaking.
It needs slight tweaking, yeah. You know, but it was our first season with it, and the thing is, when we did use it, it didn't take much time.
No, it doesn't.
And here's the thing: all the refs were on board with it. It's just, did you use it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't, because the reason why we don't use the league video because we can't get that angle. And that's why we told you, you know, your camera guy on the field, he can move within the boundaries up to the midfield and X, Y, and Z. You're still not going to catch every angle, but, you know, we're not professional. This is still recreational. I hate, you know, that's just bottom line.
Well, absolutely. You're not going to have all the angles.
We don't got the sky cam out there.
I mean, it's kind of hard, too, because you know, I think one of the rules was with that is you had to have one camera.
Correct.
You know, so what if I have 5 people with cameras? You know, I think, like I said, it needs a little bit of tweaking.
The reason why we did that is because we don't want the ref being bombarded.
Yeah.
And like, dude, look at this angle, look at this angle, look at this angle. And we're like, no, we need that.
We don't have
person.
New York to call.
Exactly. We don't have the 50 jumbo screens ahead and able to slow it down, you know, because and it's time
zoom
in and time and all that. So I think that
would be fun though. That'd be
dude. I mean, who knows? Maybe one day if we get our own venue, we can implement that. If we have all that capability, if we have on the field cameras, but
I don't see why not.
But I think that's something. I'm gonna joke about this and be like, that's like a 2030 type of deal.
Moving forward,
you know, but we're all going in 2023. So, I mean, that's, you know, we're talking about 7 years. I mean, who knows? We don't know where anyone's going to be in 7 years.
Absolutely not.
Believe it or not, you know, the league's been, that would make the league, oh my God, it'd be league 40 years old.
Oh, it'll do. The league will, like I said, there's so much like teams that want to play flag football. So there's always the talent out there. There's always the teams. I don't see this stopping anytime soon.
I don't either,
you know?
but
I mean, Katona's been running for a long time. They started off with 2-hand touch.
I mean, I'm young, so I mean, but it's all about, you know, I think everyone jokes, you know, when are you going to retire from flag? And the most common is like, when my wife tells me to, and I'm like, I've had that conversation.
That helps, right?
Yeah, so
kind of you got to listen to the wife, but at the same time, your body will tell you, and. After a while, you start seeing the young guys come in, you see what they can do, and you know what you can't do anymore. I've been around the league for a very long time. I have a lot less years than more years in this game, but the passion and the love for this game just doesn't go anywhere. That'll stay around forever.
Yeah.
No matter, even if, I'm a little sore in the morning, this game has grown on me from the start of it. When I first started off, it was almost just that avenue to get away on the weekends to do something. But like I said, the friends and I would call family that I've met through this league and through playing football, you will never be able to replace that.
Dude, is you said the family. A lot of people feel like when you own an organization, you have vendettas, X, Y, and Z. I'll tell you what, I have met so many people, and from different parts of Illinois. We have people that even come from out of state every weekend, and it's just. I enjoy meeting everyone, and you never have true hard feelings against people. You get in heated moment situations, but you're just like, at the end of the day, that as stuff pops off, those people still have your back, and people will come out of the woodworks for you. But
friendships that last forever.
And even like outside of flag, you'll somehow, some way you're like, oh man, I didn't even know I had you on Facebook. Or you'll be like, hey, what's going on?
There's so many people come from different areas and different lifestyles and
different ideas, and that's the part that
and they come together on a field, and they're one. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff, the money wise, the family wise, all that doesn't matter sometimes. You're on a field with the guy across from you with the same jersey on, that's going for the same goal. We've been doing it since we were young and we came into sports. You know what I'm saying? It teaches you about life in general. Football is just not something that you go and do. Like, you live this. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife would probably tell me I'd do it a little bit more because I'm constantly on the phone dealing with stuff. I'll tell you one thing: the drama doesn't end.
It doesn't.
When the cameras go off or when the games are over.
Especially that night on Sunday nights, people don't realize how much drama pops off after these games. But
seasons end. People switching teams. People not happy.
The free agency market. I think that's a whole nother. That we have to do a whole segment just on free agency.
We will do. I think that's what's going to make this. And we got to do some free agency talk. We got to talk about the teams that are coming up, the new teams that are switching. That is what is also so fun about this, is having those conversations, to be able to talk about stuff like this. Like I said, to get more and more of the fans and the teams to join and bring stuff up, and just like I said, it's really fun. We have a Facebook page that is kind of for shit talking, and it gets wild on
Dude, it gets wild.
So
I've had to shut my mouth a couple of times. I've been.
And you have not.
I have not. Sometimes I've not. And I try not to talk. I try to be neutral ground on a lot of stuff. There's sometimes I just don't know when to shut my mouth, though. But I try to do a very good job of staying away. I honestly go on it because
You got away from the message.
I got away from the message
board.
You
remember? I back in the day, the
message board was dangerous, but. That's a conversation for another day. So we're going to kind of wrap things up right now as we're heading into, about a half an hour in. We'll probably, because we still got some more interviews to do and all of that. But
I hope you guys enjoy these interviews as well.
Yeah, it's
learn get to know the teams. There's a lot of teams here that you probably
30. We're going to have 30.
So yeah.
So if we can get at least one interview per team, I mean, not necessarily if it's at a media day or stage lighting or anything like that. If we go to the bar, we're going to try to branch out more, and we're going to try to get more people's voices heard. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed these interviews and the time, and maybe we'll talk a little bit towards the end. We'll see how we feel and on the time of the day, because we're, believe it or not, we still have families. So so this isn't our day job, but. Thank you guys. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Let's eat. TIU's coming soon. Yeah, because that was.
The Elite has some spots open, so whoever.
Expectations to get this championship. To be honest, I think we can mess with everybody in our division. So that's championship's the only expectation for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good thing to hear. I mean, when you come into the league, especially a rec, you guys are starting off at the lower league, which isn't bad. To be moving up, but you want to get your feet under you, get your new guys in there, see how they transition to the game from college football to flag football. It's a little bit different, but yeah. So I mean, you guys got a tough task ahead of you coming in, kind of a newer team. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people know you guys. So you gotta have that at your advantage, you know, because non-teams know you, they can't really game plan against you. So that's always good. Next question I have for you is, how long have you been playing flag football?
So yeah, last spring was my first season. So I've only played one season. So this will be my second season because the Jokers took a break in the summer.
Okay, cool, man. That's awesome. What's your first memory from your flag career, or your most memorable right now? I mean, you kind of, it's a short little career, but still, you know what I'm saying?
So me personally, I had a kick return against Earned Vision. I had a kick return against them in the playoff.
Earned Vision,
so, yeah.
We actually posted it on the page.
Yeah.
Okay, we might even put that highlight in there then.
You might have to.
Cool. Here's a different little question, kind of throw off from some of these questions. Say you're getting ready for the game, you know what I'm saying? We talked about this earlier when you came in about music. Who would you not give the aux to? Who is like, you are, you know, on your team, you're not giving that aux to. You're going to be like, nah, we'll give it to somebody else. Hold on.
Man, it's going to have to be Leroyce Montgomery because, you know, just know LJ Montgomery, he's just not going to do it for me, man.
Okay. Good shit. All right, well, since you're in the rec, we do have the team list here. What team are you looking to go against, or are you looking forward to go against? At least give me 3 of them, you know what I'm saying?
All right, so I know for sure I want that 2 lethal team, that new team. I already talked to some of the guys. They already been kind of talking their stuff to me, so I'm ready for that. I need my lick back against Menergy. That's a fact. And then them Warriors, they were chirping it up last year. We took the win, and I'm looking forward to come beat them again, to be honest with you.
Oh, you heard it here first. He's coming at you, man. I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
Well, like I said, I know you run the team, so I'm going to have this last question I got for you, bro. What's the hardest part about running the team, man?
Honestly, the hardest part about running the team is getting everybody on the same page and making sure everybody's happy. And honestly, just taking the low-hanging fruits for everybody, like finding out what everybody could do best. And you got guys who played football in college and they started, and when you got to tell them they got to go to a new position in flag football, they're like, what? And then, you know, just getting it also right, yeah, and also teaching the guys that like this ain't regular football, so you can't stiff arm and all that stuff. Teaching them the rules and all that stuff, and you know, getting them to pay. You know,
getting them paid for sure. Man, well, like I said, that's all the time I got for you, man. I appreciate you coming here and giving us this time. Let them know who you're looking forward to. Let them know what your name is, Midwest Jokers. They're coming to your rec league. All right, guys, look out for them.
For sure.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Hello, guys. We're here with VG, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Hello, guys. We're here with VGs, Vanilla Gorillas. You guys know them. You guys see them. We're going to have a couple questions, kind of get to know the team, get to know them a little bit more. And, yeah, so here we go, man. Hope you enjoy it. So, you know, since we got Nationals coming up, it's going to be my first question. How do you guys feel about going into Nationals this year? You guys been runners-up the last couple of years, you know. How do you guys feel?
So those runners-up didn't really feel as confident as I feel now going into Nationals, so we're just kind of leave it at that.
You guys had a nice couple seasons coming off, ready to Nationals. You know, you got a new offense, a couple new faces, but you guys have really been clicking, man.
Pretty much a new team. I mean, after Nationals last year, we were left with like 14 guys. I think maybe 8 were playable because of the style we were going with.
Something different.
Yeah.
Vince has definitely been taking over the league. A lot of people talked about him last couple seasons. Like, could he be that guy? He's shown that he could be the guy for you guys.
He's a monster.
So, you know, you guys have definitely a good team going to Nationals. I believe that's my pick. I'm gonna say it here right now. That's my pick.
Yeah, it's definitely the best team that we've gone down with. It's most well-rounded. For sure.
Good, man. Good to hear. Next question is, how do you feel about your team moving forward into the spring NFE? You know, I know it's going to be after Nationals, but, you know, you guys played well last year in NFE. How do you guys feel about moving forward for spring?
Only up.
Yeah.
That's
Only
it.
up.
Yeah, we lost the championship to Hammer in the Summer League. We lost them in the semifinals, ended up taking fall, so we expect to be up there.
Yeah, my mindset is we're on to Orlando.
Yeah, for sure. Right? Worry about spring when it comes, right? Good to hear. Good to hear. You know, you guys are kind of veterans. You guys have been playing for long, but how long have you guys been playing flag football?
I think this is my 12th year.
A long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm just about 10, 5, I think, of which were with BGs.
Yeah, I would say, how long has BG's been?
We actually joined the same time.
Yeah,
so
me and him joined the same
About 5
time.
years?
Yeah.
Cool, man. What's your first memory or your most memorable memory about flag football?
First memory is the first championship I won with Rampage, which split out to become United. Memorable, I don't know, man. This whole year has been one hell of a ride enjoying it.
Yeah.
Man, it's so hard to pinpoint. It's just, like I would say any nationals experience that we've done, like we tend, like we like to get a team house. We want everyone together, because that bonding experience is something that
It's
like,
huge.
You can't compare it to anything else. When you got a bunch of guys staying elsewhere and then you guys just show up at the field, it's different. So it's just every nationals being in that team house, and there's millions of stories which I'm not going to share on camera. So
Another time, definitely. Now I know what kind of questions I'm gonna be asking. But let's kind of change the tune here. If you guys are getting ready for a game, you got the boombox out there, because I know you can see it down at Nationals, got the big boombox. Who on your team are you not giving that boombox to play? You don't want to listen to their playlist. Who is it?
I'm just gonna rip on Gio just because it's easy. Sorry, Gio, but
Damn,
just
Gio.
fuck Gio.
you're my vote.
So no boombox for you, all right? You gotta give it to somebody else.
Me, I gotta go Batman. 100%.
Oh
Batman.
man,
I
that's
feel like
legit. that was legit.
that one's
That's
a legit one.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be playing some pour some sugar on me or some shit.
Damn,
Sorry,
Batman.
Batman. I had to do it.
I'm gonna have to ask what your playlist is just so I can find out. That's awesome. Well, you know what? Since, like I said, you guys are on the Nationals and you don't want to necessarily think about spring, let me just get one more question about spring. Who in spring in NFE are you looking to go up against next year?
Honestly, man, they can all get it.
They can
Hammer,
all get it.
I definitely
I
want
love
Hammer,
it.
but
I
they can
love
all
it.
get it.
Awesome.
I got a back end question for you guys. We got a couple, younger teams playing up for this first time. TIU, you got Silent Assassins, who's played 3 seasons in the league, won 2 seasons out of 3 they've been in. How do you guys feel about those younger teams coming up to play in Elite, just stepping up?
I like it. TIU, they just lost in a ship, right, to Silent Assassins?
Yeah.
Didn't they? So
believe so.
Silent Assassins actually gave us a difficult time in the tournament. Actually, both teams gave us a difficult time in the tournament in January, or July.
Yeah, if I can give any advice, TIU, change your jerseys up. That big U, I thought your team name was UTI for a while. So that would be my advice. Change that up.
Good advice right there. No
We'll make sure to bring that up when he comes in later. Maybe I'll take that, Jeremy.
We'll note it. So after that question, that's a good question to keep asking. And to see these teams coming up, these younger teams that are coming up in Northfield Elite, I think it's going to help them in the long run.
Yeah.
You play against some of the top dogs over here. You kind of learn how to grow your team and what you kind of want moving forward. So it's going to be good to see them moving up in NFE. But last question I have for you, so you guys can get out of here, is what's the hardest part about running a team? Keeping it together, pretty much.
Man, we were given the keys like the lowest point, man. Like I said,
Yeah.
maybe 8 playable guys. So we had to build a whole new team. Finances obviously is a big thing. Egos, check those at the door, and then keep them, bring consistency the entire year.
Yeah, we have and not having, it's hard to have just one person run an entire team. We essentially have a committee of captains that, we vote on everything, down to the players that we're bringing in. And everyone,
core.
yeah, you have a core, you gotta have that core, you gotta have guys that, that are team guys first. They have to be team guys, you bring in egos, and it's gonna be hard. There can only be so many divas on the team. And
I take up more than enough for my team. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm really glad you guys came, and joined us today. Got this out the way, kind of got the fans to know you guys. I'm looking forward to watching you guys down the Nationals, and from here on out, you guys have been doing a great job. So again, give you guys flowers now.
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Here at Elite this year, they've been moving up in the ranks. I think you guys started off in rec, right? Believe.
No, we start on comp.
Started off in comp, which is awesome, even better. So they're taking their talents to NFE, and we got a couple questions for them so we can get to know them, get to know their team, and see exactly which way they're moving. So we're going to start off with that today. Again, appreciate you having us or having you here. And first question I want to ask you is, how do you feel about your team moving forward going into spring, man?
Me personally, we started off in comp. We actually started off in Bolingbrook League. Was doing great out there. Heard about Giuseppe's league. Came over and joined it. Did great. I think we personally built from nothing. All right, and I know you can attest. A lot of people like to jump from team to team to team, but again, I had losing season, winning seasons. I feel comfortable. I feel like we're doing great. I feel like we're going in the right direction that we need to finally get the end goal. You know.
And you were just in the championship in comp against Silent Assassins, correct?
Yeah.
And I mean, they're another team that's moving up with us as well. So it's going to be fun to see you guys play again up in Northfield Elite with all that talent up there.
Of course.
So it's all right. We play later. Sorry about that. Don't worry about that. So we got a lot of blues. My next question I want to ask you: how long have you been playing flag football?
I've been playing flag football for about 4 years now.
Okay.
I got into it late. My friend Jarrell Sharp actually told me about it. Started playing. My first team I played for was actually the Hitman. That was in Bolingbrook.
Okay.
Shout out to them. They got me started. They let me play quarterback for them. Played against a bunch of people.
Got the itch for it.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, I wish I knew about this a long time ago. Like I'm telling you, there's teams that's been doing this for years now, and I never knew about it. But I'm glad I finally got into it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like I said, and going off of that question, what's your first memory or your most memorable memory from flag football so far?
Man, my most memorable memory from flag football would be playing New Wave inside the semifinals at Elmhurst College.
Nice.
We went to 4 overtimes.
I remember that game.
Man,
I remember that game.
the environment and just everything about it, like everyone was hype about it. The picks, the touchdowns, and everything, man. Like it was great. It was a feeling that I was like, man, this is why I do this. It was great. Didn't end the way I wanted it to end. Haven't played New Wave since that game either, so I'll be excited to see them again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a game to watch. I'm gonna tell you, I watched that game that he's talking about. That was a great game to watch, back and forth. 2 good teams kind of coming up in the ranks. New Wave has had a lot of success since then, and you guys have as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in Northfield Elite and seeing how you guys do this year. Definitely.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, man. We're excited.
With that being said, what teams are you looking to go against? I can tell you New Wave, you already told me
Yeah.
that, but any other teams you got out there?
Looking forward to playing New Wave. Definitely looking forward to playing the Phantoms. Grew up with a lot of those guys too. I know
Awesome.
a lot of them started in Bolingbrook as well. Haven't seen them in a while. Looking forward to playing them. Definitely want to play VGs. Again, got to see Silent Assassins again because
Yeah.
didn't end the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But man, like I said, I'm looking forward to it all.
Good. Well, and I know that you're going down to nationals for your first time this year. How do you feel about that? You looking forward to it? What are you kind of looking forward to out there?
I'm looking forward to the environment. I heard it's a great environment to be in. I'm looking forward to seeing all the different competition that's around
Absolutely.
the area. Bringing my team down there for the first time. Again, it's not my full team. Everyone can't take off like most people can, but
Yeah.
bringing a couple of new guys down there. So again, for the first time experience, I'm looking to win it all like always, man.
All right, so we always have this question for our teams here. It's game time, right? You're getting ready for the game. You got the boombox out there. Who are you not giving that boombox to listen to their playlist? I want to know on your team.
Probably Jeff
Jeff.
McNair, yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, he plays some NBA YoungBoy, and
You ain't getting the boombox.
I can't give it to him, man.
You ain't getting hyped for the game on your playlist, so sorry about that. Well, that's awesome. Like I said, I like to ask that question, kind of get to know some guys on the team who's not, listening to their music and stuff like that. The last question I have for you before we let you go so you can watch some football today. What's the hardest part about running a team for you?
man, the hardest part about running a team is actually getting people that's committed, that actually want to do it. It's not just waking up every Sunday and going to play flag football.
Yep.
There's a lot of time and effort that goes into doing, especially running a team,
Yes.
making sure you guys got new uniforms, making sure the team fees are paid on time, making sure we get a team to show up on time. You got a bunch of guys that say they want to play, but they never show up. You got a bunch of guys that will say they want to play, but we'll go play for another team, but can't
Absolutely.
be grown up and tell you about, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play at this team.
Communication is key, guys.
Communication is key, man. I'm telling you, anybody that's running a team by themselves, I give you kudos, man. It's harder than what you think. It's another job outside of your job.
Yes, it
And
is.
again, like just trying to get everybody on the same page. Again, we started from nothing. Again, I had losing seasons, winning seasons, but I'm finally starting to get a group of guys that are on the same page.
Yeah.
It's not just Sundays. It's actually Monday through Sunday.
Yeah,
every week.
absolutely.
Every week is a challenge, man.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
I got about 4 other captains on my team that help out with things like that.
Need to.
Man, again, kudos to anybody running the league, running the team by themselves. It's hard. All right, that's why you gotta work with those type of people.
It takes time, takes commitment. I'll tell you that much. And like I said, I appreciate you coming and having these photo shoot. Everyone take advantage of this. Like I said, you had some fun today. You got to bring your jerseys out.
It wasn't weird.
We're gonna get this content out again. I appreciate you. I'm excited to see you guys as a team.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man, and enjoy the year, guys.
Baby, I love you. I'm okay. Giuseppe did not make it weird.
I mean, the messages were weird, but it wasn't weird when we got here.
Wasn't that weird?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you taking the time and joining us. Again, we'll get some more content for you, and I hope you enjoy. Got a couple questions to ask him to get to know the team and see where they're moving on forward with spring and especially nationals, which leads into my first question for you, Dante, today. How do you feel about nationals coming up? How do you feel about Fort GF and their chances right now?
Our chances, preparing for nationals, getting your team ready, playing different styles of offense. People gonna bring their A game, so you gotta make sure your guys are ready for that.
Yeah, definitely, because nationals is kind of that end-all, be-all for the year. We work towards it all year long, so this is the end of it, trying to move on and have a good foot towards spring. With that being the next question, obviously, how do you feel about Fort GF moving forward in the spring and stuff like that? You guys, are we ready? Are we thinking about maybe, doing something a little different, or keep the team together, kind of?
It's gonna be big moves in the spring, I say. Keep your guys tight
Running a team.
and keep it going.
And just a question for you: how long have you been playing flag football?
I say since, I want to say 2016, 2017, I started.
Yeah, you've been wowing a lot of people. I mean, I gotta say, you're if not the best player. I say he's the best player out there in flag football.
Appreciate it, man.
Definitely fun to watch. I want to say you bring a lot of people to watch our games, which is really cool to see. But what's your first memory or your most memorable memory that you have from flag football so far?
My most memory, about building a bond with a lot of people since I joined flag. I had some good games that I remember, especially against Hammer. Ended that season off big time. Just
Good memory right there. I remember that really well. Those are some of those games that you can't, you can't let go. It kind of puts us to where we are right now. I mean, we've played together for a long time on black shirts, and then now Fort GF, bringing them up through the ranks. So it's been fun, like I said. But coming into Northfield Elite in the spring, what teams are you looking to go against this year? At least, give me three names, that you're really marking on the schedule right now.
I wouldn't say I got 3. I probably got 1, and I'll say just Phantoms. Really, want to see Phantoms.
I can understand that.
Dun-dun-dun.
There's a lot of teams out there we can go after all of them, but we ain't ducking no smoke. So we really want all that smoke. So any team in Northfield Elite, I think we're ready for it, I would say. This is a little bit different of a question I've been asking everybody, but I know we bring a boombox to the field and get us hyped. Who are you not giving that boombox to play their songs?
I think our team, no. Can't give it to Tim. We cannot.
Tim wants to play that old school stuff, bring us back, but
Love him to death.
love Tim, but you ain't getting that playlist no more.
Dead.
And last but not least, before we get out of here, what's the hardest part about running the team, man?
Building, starting from the bottom, trying to get guys to practice, collecting money-wise, I see it with other teams, so you try to level up by getting sponsors and all that.
Yeah, which is crazy because every time I ask this question to everybody else, they kind of say the same exact thing, kind of, collecting the money, getting committed players. It's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
We always think that this is we just play on Sunday, but it doesn't just end on Sunday. It's a full week thing that we go through all the time. I mean, me and you talk every single day about something new on just the flag football or just our team. So it's definitely just bringing the right guys together. I mean, I feel from just doing it for a long time and just finding the right pieces that fit,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But man, I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you giving me this time, bro. Of course, we family, so you know it's
Yeah,
always
I already
love,
know
bro.
that.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Now, we just got done with those interviews. We had some good talks, a lot of interesting conversations,
Yeah.
some pretty common factors in what we've been seeing in the questions.
Yeah,
What was the most surprising for you?
Well, we know who's not running the boombox for some teams, and it's good to know. But other than that, learn about just kind of where some of the teams' heads are at and kind of where they're moving forward. I believe the interviews coming forward and going forward is just going to have us be able to introduce each team, kind of bring them out of their shell, and let the whole world know them. That's kind of what we're here for, and that's kind of why we're doing this, so we can help out everybody.
And guys, I mean, that's the main focus of the Comish Podcast. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the league. So, if you're going to come out, you want to be a part of it, we do travel. In a fairly distant, we're not going to drive over like in half an hour to come see someone. We'll ask to meet like halfway. If you are looking to sponsor the podcast or have a segment sponsored by you, just let us know. Please give us some information, insights. If you'd like to be on the podcast,
Reach out to us.
Reach out to us. We'll start taking people. We're going to try a couple different things throughout the season. Coming forward in the next coming months, I mean, it's going to be Christmas. So we probably won't do anything till after that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do one right before our nationals, before you leave. When do you leave?
I leave on the 11th, so maybe we could do something on the 8th or something that weekend.
So we'll try to figure something out right after New Year's. I personally might not be at nationals, just depending on a few personal factors. But we're definitely going to be trying to get an inside scoop. Maybe Jeremy will hop on his phone over there when he's at Tampa.
Absolutely.
He's going to Tampa. I know a lot of teams are going to both. We are UFFL sanctioned, so shout out to UFL, all those competing at Orlando, as well as all good luck to all those in FFWCT
Absolutely.
or USA flag. We hope that Chicago alone brings home multiple national titles from both on that weekend.
Absolutely.
I mean, what's better not to have the elite league, have the elite teams.
Hey, like I said, shout out to all the teams going down to nationals. If you're not going down to nationals, hey, look into it. Every year it's fun. Ask the people that go down.
But if you're not going, it's okay. It's okay to be a house league team.
Yeah.
So we care about you too. So if you want to get some videos and stuff like that, just because you're a house league team doesn't mean you're not important. So
let's reach out to us. Like I said, we're willing to travel. You guys got sponsors. You want to set up a show with your sponsors. We're willing to do that. Let's have some fun with this guy.
Yeah,
Like I said, reach out. All right?
this show's for that as well. So if you have a sponsor, then you need to get out there. We'll have you on. We'll give your shout out sponsors, make a segment for them, and let's have fun with this season. Good luck, everyone. We got, like I said, 5 more spots remaining in the elite division before we cap out and have a wait list.
Let's fill them up.
Let's fill them up. Let's see what's going to happen. 25 teams are registered out of 30. We're not going past 30. That is a hard number. So we hope that soon we'll do some more different podcasts. Maybe we'll do a live one, but this show's primarily going to be pre-recorded just because of a lot of different factors that we go along with doing this show.
Sorry, Vito.
Yes, you'll get the joke once you see the bloopers. You will see after this. All right, guys. See you soon. All right. So